Sound rolling. Get into place here. All right, and what do they say in show business?
Action.
That's right. Diego Osorio.
Osorio.
What's happening, brother?
It's good, man. It's been busy with some different film projects, helping out on different sets, and just trying to keep myself occupied, really, whenever I can.
Yeah, I know it's this has been a long time coming.
Oh yeah, it has. Yeah, well, I remember you were talking to me on the set of Fang, which we'll get into here shortly.
Yeah.
But I remember you were talking about wanting to do a podcast with people, directors, actors, crew, whoever it may be, that you worked with, and give them a platform and talk about them and just really connect more, which I think is really awesome. And the fact that you're at this position now, still doing episode 5, 6 now for this, I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
That you're doing this for, the community. Thanks,
man. Yeah, you really were a part of the conversation when this was just an idea. And, we're doing it.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here. It's great to see this in person now.
Absolutely. Well, for people that don't know, how we met, you auditioned and casted me in your film Fang as, one of the lead characters. And you brought me a nice gift here. Why don't we showcase this? Can't let this sit on the table too long. This movie poster here. Bring it up close.
All right, so that's the poster for the short horror film I did called Fang. About 5 minutes, really short film, but I finally was able to give him the poster for it. So
this is amazing, man. Yeah, a really well done short film, which was your first self-written, directed project outside of any school or anything like that, right?
Right. Yeah, basically. Yeah. So I graduated in 2022, and then I think it was November of that year. I went to a convention. There I met Derek Brash and Nina Trader. My mom introduced me to them because she bought a craft from Nina.
Oh, wow.
And so basically he was saying how in January of 2023 he was going to film a horror film.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, you want to be a part of it? Let me know, send me your email, whatever. And so long story short, I did. And I helped out on that film called Spin the Bottle. It's part of an anthology series here. And then basically I think there, I don't know, I just got a spark to be like, hey, let me just do my own thing. I want to let me just, make something.
Yeah.
And so basically I was like, all right, let me write something myself. I'm in charge of it. My ideas, whatever.
Yeah. And
I was like, okay, what can I do that's capable of me doing it? Not a crazy big budget, whatever. Something that's doable.
Right.
I love horror and stuff, and I was like, you know what? Let me go with vampires. With vampires, you can do so much with it. You can go from the Edward Cullen kind of look. You can go from the Nosferatu kind of look.
Oh yeah.
So you can go for a whole different kind of range of vampires.
Batman.
Exactly. So I just went with kind of the simple fangs and blood and all that, and bites on the neck. All the classic stuff. And I wanted to have some kills in there, but I wanted to have it be where the special effects aren't too crazy, with a big budget or whatever, but that's kind of how that kind of came into fruition there. I was just like, hey, let me start my own thing, let me just write something. I think I just got inspired that day. I was just like, let me do something.
Yeah.
So that was kind of how that kind of came to be. And then even with you, I was wanting to do, I used Backstage for that, and then I saw Niko wanted to audition for it, and I remember I specifically put Zach, not vampire role.
Yeah.
just so people aren't. They were like, oh, Fang film? I'm like, is this a vampire? So I wanted to clarify.
Right. Keep them guessing a little bit. Well, what is this actually going to be about, right?
Exactly. So, going through different auditions, and you just kind of caught my eye, and even little things like pulling out your phone, I think, or I don't know if you did this or whatever, but pulling out your phone, just stuff like that, and just kind of really being into it and stuff. And I was like, this is the guy to cast, and. So that came to be, with Will, and then Samantha, I technically kind of met her before during film school for one of my kind of directing projects. During that time, we had to use Backstage, so that's how I was already kind of familiar with that site and stuff. I see. Mm-hmm. So I used Backstage to look for actors on that. Samantha wanted to audition for one of the roles. Long story short, the filming day had to be pushed back or something, and she couldn't audition and stuff. But I kept her in mind. I was like, I think she'd be great one day. Because she left a message basically saying like, oh, maybe in the future we could work together again.
Yeah. Did you reach out to her, or she responded to a posting?
I reached out to her. So I think, it was literally like that day I was spinning the bottle. I just sent her an email being like, hey, I got this film. We kind of, we talked before and stuff. Would you want to do it? And then she was like, yeah, basically. So I got her on board for that. And then, yeah, it was a small cast, only four people. But, yeah, I mean, it was just it's a crazy experience it's been so far with this Fang film.
Oh yeah, because as you talked about even like during the audition is that you came up with this idea, and what I really loved about the script upon reading it was that I'm like, wow, this could go in like so many different directions. Like this kind of sounds like a trailer for something much bigger, and I think that's part of the strategy you're trying to play, right? Is like you have Fang that's a 5-minute runtime that leaves you guessing with so many questions at the end that I think you're going to begin to get into with like the second phase of it, or the sequel, Encounter. And so that's what you're currently filming, right?
Right. So yeah. So basically with Fang, I kind of did that as kind of just this starting point. Maybe kind of like this middle chapter of a bigger picture.
Yeah.
And basically, yeah. I mean, when you look at the ending of Fang, it's like, okay, what happened to what happened to this character? Like, what's going on? Kind of leaves on a cliffhanger, basically.
Right.
And there's just so much like lore to be explored of like, who's this vampire? How old is she? This, this and that. And then even with, I don't want to get too much away because you haven't seen it, check it out. But yeah, I mean, basically, there's so much more you can go with it. And then, with Encounter Fang, actually, it's a prequel.
Yeah.
And so now we're going usually.
Oh, right, correct, yeah.
So basically, people would probably be going like a sequel route, which I was gonna do originally, but I was like, I think it'd be kind of cool to go the prequel way because basically how that came to be.
Like Star Wars.
Right. So basically how that came to be. I was working on a film set. We were shooting in a police station, actually, the North Lake Police Department. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
That's cool.
But basically there, I was like, man, it's such a great because we were like in the basement and obviously there's no like windows or anything. I was like, man, this would be such a great location for like. To kind of like substitute for like Area 51 or something crazy like that. And I was like looking at the story of how Fang ended. I'm like, I don't know, could it work in the sequel? I don't know. And I was like, oh, let me do a prequel route where she's in Area 51, and then basically when you watch it, it leads into kind of like Fang here. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how that prequel thing came to be. I was like, I want to like fast track to that prequel, fast track to that Area 51 kind of setting.
Yeah.
That's how that came to be.
Did you have that idea when writing Fang? Did you write it like when in the midst of writing it? Were you already thinking like, I can continue on with another film after this that will predicate, this story? Was that was already kind of in your head?
Yeah. Well, at first I wanted to do a sequel. That was kind of my idea. I mean, I think even when we were there at the table, I don't know, maybe back then at the premiere, but I remember I was telling like Samantha, and we're like, oh, it's kind of what I have an idea for like. The sequel, and this character appears here and he's in this building and this and that. But I was, just mentioning, I just like, I want to do this Area 51 thing. Yeah. It would work better as like a prequel. So I went the prequel route, which is pretty cool because when you do watch it, it adds so much more lore. So that way when you're watching Fang, it's like, oh shit, now I know more information about her. Now I know about the Zach guy, what's his kind of bigger purpose in all this.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my idea with it. It's not so much the kills or whatever, it's more like the dialogue of what people say that really adds to the world building. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's like, I don't want to give too much away about Fang either because I want people to actually go watch it. Right. But it's like the creature, the figure at the end. It's like what is really going on here?
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean with that creature, that monster, we definitely expand way more in this prequel film, which is really cool. And. Yeah, well, it's in post-production now. Bobby Thompson, who's editing, he did scoring, everything. Right on. I'll probably be meeting up with him next Friday here in person just to kind of look at it. Mm-hmm. But it's almost done. It's almost there in the final stretches of it. He's kind of doing like the final mix of everything, dialogue and music and all that. So yeah, I'll be meeting up with him just to kind of give it that final look, and then.
Are you editing as well?
I'm not editing that. He did the whole editing.
Oh, the whole editing.
Yeah, basically the whole editing, composing, scoring, all that. And especially for this kind of caliber of project, I was like, you'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll have you.
You're a true director now. You got bigger things to focus on.
Exactly. I'm too busy. Too many contacts, you know.
Yeah, man.
But no, I mean,
too many interviews.
No, but yeah, I mean, you know, having seen it multiple times, of course, you know, it's just like, oh my god, it looks so good, and then just the sound design really adds so much to the film. I'm like, wow, like if I was doing that, I wouldn't have been able to like put that in there or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's able to achieve with all that has been really cool, and just the color grading and stuff like that, and just the music. That's so much more. I'm like, wow, it's just. I'm really excited for people to see this particular kind of chapter.
Absolutely.
Of the Fang world.
It sounds like you know, a big jump from like the 5-minute short, which I thought you did a very incredible job of making, like, you know, just a regular front room, living room look, you know, very cinematic, and you know, have like the horror suspense element added to it.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, no, totally. So I'm excited to see what it's going to look like for Encounter. So do you have a intended release date yet?
Yeah, well, I think at this point, at the rate it's going, I think March is ideal. If you want to have kind of a family and friends, you know, cast and crew kind of screening.
Yeah.
And I want to give them at least like 2 weeks or 3, just, you know, heads up kind of notice, basically. So that might push into like maybe early April, but definitely in this March range, I'm thinking. But yeah, no, I mean, you know, with Encounter, I wanted to go, you know, bigger. Like, the runtime right now for it's like 16 minutes.
Oh, okay,
so
nice.
Yeah, it's longer for sure now. And again, there's just so much more lore being added, more characters, more locations.
Yeah.
You know, with Fang, it was mainly just kind of like the house, my house, basically.
Yeah.
And the sidewalk and stuff like that. But here we're going to like a basketball park, we're going to like the police station or like Area 51.
Yeah.
You know, we went to my neighbor's house to shoot something. You know, so it's much more different locales.
And you, I don't want to like give away where you live or anything, but I know you live near like that. It's like not a military base, but it's like a youth military ROTC.
Yeah, it's like the reserve.
Something like that, right? Yeah. Do you ever think about going like jumping the fence and going to, you know, film the tanks in there or anything like that?
That's a good idea. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that'd be maybe a future film. I'll keep it in mind. Yeah.
Steal some quick shots and chop them in there.
Some guerrilla shooting.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's no one there watching. You know.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean that was my idea with Encounter. Which
don't trespass, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly. We're not advocating trespassing.
Maybe Area 51 you can try. But yeah, with Encounter I wanted to go bigger with it and, you know, extend the runtime, or, you know, the pages for it, and just add more characters, more stuff. And in fact, I was able to secure that police location. Again, they're cool because they've worked with like Derek and stuff before on their film sets. But I gave the chief a call and he was cool with it. Just kind of explained what was going on, and just having something like that really adds to kind of like the production value. Because like, oh shit, now we're shooting at this police station, and then one of the scenes were like in the actual like cell and stuff. So it's it's adding so much more to it.
I mean, yeah, and it's like you're probably getting even better performances out of the actors too, because you're in that type of environment where it's like, wow, this does feel like Area 51 or some top secret, you know, location.
Right. Yeah, and that was my idea, because I just saw that like basement area. I was like, oh, this would be perfect for and then you have like the cell too. And like, okay, I can incorporate that into there. And thankfully they were cool with letting me shoot there, because I had to like rewrite it or maybe find some other different place. But
which does happen, right, in filmmaking.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's you know, with Fang or Encounter, it's just, you know, I wrote both of them. It's just constant like rewriting and rewriting. Like, oh, can I do this? Let me add this. Let me change that, let me read it, let me proofread it and stuff like that. So it's just constantly just going back and forth. Like, what can work? If I put that here, how can I connect that to, you know, Fang and stuff like that? So
it's a whole. It's almost like a very strategic, right? Let's talk about that. How do you describe like your writing process or your creative process? Like, you know, you mentioned just the idea of vampires. Do you just kind of like brainstorm and start writing from there? Do you just start writing drafts, or do you do a whiteboard, or like what's your process usually like?
Yeah, so, you know, with Fang, like I just wanted to do something horror, right? That was kind of like my base point there.
Right.
And then, you know, I like the kind of universal classic monsters and stuff like that. And I was just kind of thinking like those monsters, like Dracula or like a vampire would be more doable. Did you go with like creature from the Black Lagoon? you gotta get like a whole outfit, and then you gotta make it look real. It's like, you know,
you need a swamp or something,
right? And you know, and then there's like
maybe if we lived in Florida,
right? And then there's, you know, like the Wolfman and stuff like that. But with that, then you gotta do all that makeup and whatnot and stuff like that. And I guess probably the easiest in today's world would be like Invisible Man.
Yeah.
Right, because you could get away with it in today's technology, especially. But
and you play more with like theater of the mind versus
exactly,
you know, physical.
But I was like, you know what? Let me go with the vampire route.
Yeah.
And then from there, we use it's called Final Draft 11. It's the script like programming that I use. And that's what I use for film school. I just carried that over to write this one, and I was like, all right, what's something that I can do? You know, again, that's not too long, super short film.
Yeah.
Something that I could, you know, do real quick in a day, the weekend, whatever it may be. So I just remember I got like my MacBook and I was on my bed just like writing, like, you know, I don't really have like a beginning, middle, end. It's just kind of like, let me start from beginning.
Right.
See what kind of characters I come up with, what kind of events, and then go from there. Okay, that seems pretty good. All right, let me go from the middle and then to the end. That's kind of the way I work here, at least for for this film.
That's my kind of style, man. All over the place.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you know, and then you know, even for Encounter 2, it's basically the same thing. Like, but granted, I obviously already had Fang as a base point, so from there it's like, okay, where do I want Samantha or like Elise to kind of go? She's like in this cell. Okay, from this cell, where does she go next? And you know, with these new characters too, how are they gonna interact? How are they gonna like meet up, you know, with her and all these monsters and all the crazy stuff. Yeah, it's basically just kind of going like beginning, writing. Okay, that's cool. Middle, all right, that's kind of cool. And I might have like a general idea of like the ending and stuff like that in terms of like, okay, I think it'll be end here. But
how do I build into this? How do we arrive to this point, right?
Exactly. So that's kind of my general viewpoint, and then you know I'll take some inspiration, you know, for you know Fang and Encounter Fang here, but I'm not like rewatching a movie per se. Like, all right, let me really study this one character's performance or whatever. I'm just kind of going off of what I know and stuff, and just kind of writing that into the characters and the locations and stuff like that. And that's kind of how I usually work. And sometimes I might put some music on just to kind of concentrate more. And certain situations.
Beethoven or what?
Some classic Beethoven.
Or Wu-Tang.
Well, to get the Fang soundtrack in there, just, you know, have the Spotify playlist playing in there.
There we go. All the ones that were used for inspiration. All the songs for inspiration.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you know, because, again, since I'm writing these, I'm like so into it that I'm just keep writing and keep writing and keep writing. And I just want to do like writing it, and I want to be like directing it already. Like I just want to just like go boom, boom, boom kind of a thing. Yeah. That's kind of my play style, I guess you can say.
Right. And, you know, clearly motivated the next idea, which, you know, you already pretty much done with that one, it sounds like. Let's go back. Like, where did your passion first begin with, like, filmmaking? I mean, obviously, you know, you love movies. You know, was there a certain film that, like, inspired you that you wanted to do this? Because you did some school for film as well, right?
Yeah, film school, Flashpoint, Chicago. Graduated in, I think it was like June of 2022. But, yeah, I mean, for my passion, you know, I've always loved movies as long as I can remember, you know, and I think it was the Michael Bay Transformer films, but more specifically the behind-the-scenes aspect. Because those, like, Blu-rays and DVDs were just loaded with special features. They would, like, advertise on the back, like, over 4 hours. Just, like, crazy amount of special features.
That much, huh? Wow.
Exactly, yeah. So I would watch those religiously, basically, and I'd be like, I want to do what that guy's doing, like all these explosions and all these crazy visual effects and everything. Like, I want to do that, basically. Yeah. And then even with Transformers 3, because they filmed the final battle, a good chunk of it in Chicago. I actually did get to see them film one of the days, and I remember seeing Michael Bay was there directing, Shia LaBeouf was there, Patrick Dempsey, that one kind of fight scene there. And I remember they had us kind of like walking around, just to not like, I guess, block the sidewalk or whatever, but I remember seeing that in person, which was really cool.
Being like on a set.
Exactly, and that was, you know, I wasn't even like a teenager, you know.
Yeah.
So it was like, just seeing that, like, it was my favorite franchise. They're filming in Chicago. So that definitely added to it for sure, definitely. Because I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. Right. I want to do that. You know?
Absolutely.
I want to be filming in Chicago, all these crazy robots and explosions and stuff like that, you know. So it mainly from that, really. It was just, I was like, I want to do that.
That's
I
really
didn't do it
awesome.
for a living and stuff like that. And, you know, I was like, Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's,
so.
And then an artist is born, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah, no, it's been great with watching those special features, and I mean I've kind of like toned down over the years just because like sometimes with these newer releases they only pull like 30 minutes or whatever,
mm-hmm.
and it's just on top of that I'm just like too busy and whatnot. But
yeah,
but specifically back then with those films, I would just rewatch the films and then also the special features online and everything, and it was just like a constant.
They have it like where the actors or directors they're what do they call that when they're kind of talking over the scene?
Like commentary.
Commentary, yeah, right.
Right, that I mean they would go through like the entire production, pre-production, filming, post.
Yeah.
Even like I guess premiere, marketing and all that stuff.
Has that helped you like in your skill? Do you think at all?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, because like you're seeing what they're doing,
mm-hmm.
and seeing the different like crew roles and stuff like that. It's definitely helped out for sure.
Yeah,
you're watching that, and again, like watching all those 4 hours, 10 whatever filmed, all the 5 like Michael Bay films basically.
Yeah,
it's definitely helped out. And you're just definitely getting inspiration, or just definitely gives that kind of like juice to be like, well, I want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you pick up so much just from being a student of the craft. Seeing director styles and things like that is one thing, but then you take it a step further and you're looking at the behind the scenes, the commentary. They're going into how it's made essentially, right?
Right, and yeah, I mean, even working with Derek here, being on his sets too when he's directing, I learned so much. I've learned so many different kind of roles and stuff.
Oh yeah,
like boom operator. I'm not like an expert on it or whatever, but just learning how that kind of works and just kind of really getting used to all these different roles. So actually being on set on these films have helped me out a lot, definitely. I've learned so much more. I've built connections. That's like the main thing too, right?
Yeah,
building
absolutely.
those kind of connections with you and with Derek and everybody else. It's
mm-hmm.
like, because with Encounter Fang, I don't remember if I used backstage, but it was mainly just people that I worked with before.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can you take this role? I wrote like a specific role in mind for this one actor, and obviously bringing Samantha back, and she was on board to come back.
Yeah, she knew there was going to be an additional film after that. Yeah.
It's in her contract.
Yes, that's right. That's awesome.
But cause I reached out to her basically saying like, oh, can I post this one image that you did from like this TV show or whatever? She's like, yeah, that's cool. And then she was like, oh, when are you gonna do another film? I'm ready to like suit up as a vampire. And I was like, hell yeah. Because I think when she said that, like during that, I was like writing the film, so it worked out. That's how that kind of came to be.
That's awesome. I bet that's going to be one of those characters that sticks with her throughout her career.
Right. Hopefully it's the role she's known for,
yeah.
right? Not the Oscar-winning role. No, I'm kidding.
Not yet. Maybe next year. The third film. Well, both the trilogy, really, right?
Right. So basically, that's how kind of she came into play, and she was on board to come back again. And yeah, basically, I think just about everyone was someone who I worked with. Like I put Derek in the film too.
Yeah.
We used his house as well for kind of the finale.
That's awesome.
So it's just like it helps save so much time.
Yeah.
Like,
did Kirk have a role as well?
Yeah. So he reprised his role again. The Unseen Monster, I can say that, because I'm DB and everything. It's like he did reprise his role. We actually get to see him, but the way you see him in the film, he's still unseen.
Okay.
You definitely learn a little bit more about him, and again with Samantha too, especially.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just great just having to like get people I've worked with before, even just on crew too as well. That helps out as well so much. And with Encounter Fang, I also shot it with my iPhone for that one. But hopefully for any kind of future stuff, I'll have like a proper camera or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was basically just kind of using whatever I have.
What you got
for tips for people out there? It's like just use whatever you have. I use my iPhone, for these 2 films, but it worked out great, and you can still edit them, of course, with whatever program you're comfortable using with. And
yeah,
it's been I guess what am I talking about? Someone else editing Encounter, but with Fang at least, I shot both. But someone else editing Encounter, but.
Yeah. So you start yourself first, and then you can outsource the
right.
additional duties as you get going. But I'm in the same boat as you. As you saw me setting up here, it's like I don't have necessarily the technical aptitude. It's just a couple of mics. We got the camera, and it's got legs. We're crawling here, but
exactly. Yeah.
The more you do, the more you grow, right?
Exactly. Just little by little. I mean, with going from Fang to Encounter, I learned so much more in terms of. For what I'm capable of, and in terms of just kind of like what I can do with the story and just kind of reaching out there to all these different people, getting a bigger cast, more locations, definitely more effects for sure, and all this stuff. So, you know, whatever I do next, it's gonna be bigger, and it's gonna be better. For sure.
Bigger and better.
That's just the idea, you know, because we start off with Fang, right? It's kind of small film, and it's like now we're building the world, building all this different lore and characters, and you know, going looking into the future a little bit. It's like eventually, I'm definitely not done with this whole thing, so like I definitely want to continue more in terms of what happened to this particular character at the end of Fang, you know, and what the Unseen Monster and some, you know, Elise and characters in, you know, Encounter Fang and stuff, and I basically want to take all that into like a feature film and basically kind of answer all those like unanswered questions.
Yeah.
And not have that be taking up the majority of the runtime, but maybe something in the beginning where it's like, boom, this plot point is answered, boom, this plot point is answered, boom, this plot point is answered, and just make kind of a really big kind of grand finale for this kind of Fang, you know, universe. And that's kind of my idea, to make a feature film, an hour plus 30, an hour and 40, just a really long film, you know, bringing all these characters back and just kind of making it an epic kind of finale. And then again, it's never the finale, right? You have, you know, Friday the 13th, like the final chapter, or like
dude, you could go look at Fast and Furious.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, the Final Nightmare or Saw, you know, the final chapter, like they're always gonna do more. So I think after I do once I get on to doing like that feature film, then I think I'll probably branch into doing something probably still horror, but something different. Yeah. But you know, I'm definitely glad I'm doing. Again, like with Fang, it's like I wanted to have this be a starting point, and I was like, all right, I already built so much time into this film. Let me just expand on it. Let me just do kind of a franchise thing with this, you know, and let me kind of change the formula up a little bit here and go kind of the prequel route. Instead of going forward, now I'm going the prequel route. Yeah, dude. And then, I mean, you'll have to wait and see what's coming out, you know, in the future. But who knows? Maybe I might do probably not like another prequel, but like maybe it might be a spinoff. Maybe it might be a sequel prequel kind of a thing. Yeah. You know, where it's like continuing Fang's story, but maybe we're going back to that, or maybe some like origin kind of story. You know, so it's like all these different,
going a million different directions.
Exactly, there's all these different kind of avenues you can take with this Fang, you know, world, and that's just the exciting thing, is that I'm kind of building this universe, and again, it's like I'm built all this time, put it into it. It's like, let me just keep going with it. Let me just, you know, other filmmakers probably would just do like, you know, like Fang and then something else, which is fine, that's great. But for me, it's like I want to, you know, build and have all these crazy characters all in the same universe and everything. And
well, that's the key word right there, is universe. Exactly. Is that, you know, it's like Marvel or any of these other universes out there. You know, what's next? Action figures,
right? Some Funko Pops.
Yeah, just seriously.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, I mean,
that would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, once I do that feature film, I'll probably want to do like an Indiegogo for it. At that point, you know, for these films, I basically just kind of sourced it myself, and with help from family and friends and stuff like that. But with, you know, the next feature film, I want to do Indiegogo for it, and then I definitely have some cool kind of like perk ideas for that. Like, of course, you want to do like your Blu-ray and DVD and stuff like that. Probably like a shirt, you know. But I definitely have one where I got inspired. Posters, yeah. I got inspired by this one Indiegogo perk I saw, where they basically took like the wardrobe and they do what they do with like the NFL or like NBA cards or whatever, where they take a piece of the wardrobe and like put it in the card. Yeah. Maybe it has like their signature and like a piece of the wardrobe in there.
Like one of Samantha's teeth. Right? Exactly. One of her fangs.
Right. Well, the outfit she wore, it got like all bloodied. Little tease there. Like, I already posted a picture on my Facebook anyways. But basically, long story short, like, it'd be kind of cool to take a piece of that wardrobe maybe and put it there, and these like, kind of like collectible cards and stuff.
That's a brilliant idea.
So it's like, I think that'd be really cool to have that for people who are in the card market. You know, like, hey, you got this from the film, a wardrobe, and
and you guys, I know, like you and Kirk and I think Derek, you guys like will do conventions maybe of some sort. Is that right?
Yeah, so that's mainly Derek right now. He's promoting his stuff. Torture the Flesh, check it out, his new feature. Little plug. Yeah. But plug, I mean, once I have the feature, or I think maybe once I have like 3 films at least, kind of like a trilogy, then I think at that point I want to do like a Blu-ray for it, because it's like, hey, you're getting 3 films, you know, the runtime might not be like an hour with all 3 films, you know, but basically do a Blu-ray, maybe throw in like a poster in there,
As you were saying.
Yeah, so basically, you know, a whole bunch of special features too. So like, not only are you getting like the 3D film, but you're also getting all these like still behind the scenes images. Mm-hmm. You know, you're getting what else could we throw in there?
Interviews.
Yeah, exactly. Interviews, commentaries. Yeah. Maybe different versions of the film, maybe an extended version or something, or maybe, you know, there's all these different like avenues you can take. So it's like, the point is like you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, basically. And you know, you're supporting the indie community and stuff. So like once I have that kind of situated, I think it'd be kind of cool to go to a convention and have a table there.
Yeah.
I might not sell a lot. I might sell a lot. I don't, you know, the whole point is just to kind of get the word out there. And if someone buys it, it's like, whoa, that's cool. And hopefully they'll give me a follow, or, you know, hopefully they'll enjoy it, you know, to where it's, hey, I kind of want to be checking out this, you know, Fang world. And I like these characters, and maybe I see another clamoring for like, oh, I want to spin off from this character. Or like, I want, you know, this to go forward.
Or this director, I want to pay attention to him and see what he comes out with next, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be great. So, you know, it's getting counter Fang, and whatever I do next, maybe it might be another short, it might be kind of a feature or whatever, but just kind of take all of those 3 films and have a really cool Blu-ray package, new artwork and everything like that.
Yeah.
Maybe do like some like signed copies and stuff like that. So that's kind of the idea, hopefully, to, you know, get some Blu-rays out there.
Amazing, yeah.
A physical copy, you know.
And that's part of like getting yourself out there. You know, I honestly have not really thought about the whole like distribution aspect of it or the promo aspect of it, but
right, that's like a whole different aspect. You have like the beginning pre-production, then you have, you know, the filming, right, film and all that stuff, and you have the post-production editing, but then you have this whole other layer with, you know, marketing and promoting it and getting it out there. Are you gonna put it on IMDb? Are you gonna go to like a streaming thing? Are you
film
gonna
festivals,
do
all that?
Festival? Are you gonna do a DVD physical copy of it? You know, it's like there's like a whole other kind of layer to the whole film production, basically.
But you know what? That's, I think, one of the things I love about this independent scene is that it's all organic. You're getting involved in all aspects of it, especially when it's something that you created from its inception, right? From the idea to writing a draft to, you know, putting the plot together to casting and actually shooting the thing. Right. You know, why wouldn't you get excited about having all these extras to it and promoting it?
Exactly.
In order to get people to see it, you know?
Exactly. I mean, that's just the most, I mean, all this different, you know, pre-production filming, all that's rewarding. It's such a, you know, it's definitely not an easy process, but it's like, it's so rewarding seeing like the final product, seeing all the hard work from all the cast and crew and everybody involved. And then just to have like that Blu-ray copy is kind of like the final, you know, touch where it's like, oh, I actually have a physical copy of what we shot, and here's the Blu-ray. And, you know, when I do that, I want to have like some artwork on the Blu-ray. I don't want to have like some like, you know, those like regular CDs, whatever. However, I actually put like some artwork on there and and all that.
Like
stuff.
on the disc, you mean?
Exactly. Yeah. So I want to, you know, really commit to it and make it awesome with that Blu-ray. And I'm not sure how I want the cover to look like. Maybe all the characters, maybe like the 3 posters or whatever. Still in, you know, but that's the once I get to that point, it'll be all. 'Cause, you know, I'm a big physical media guy, collector, and stuff like that. Go support physical media.
Physical media.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, just to have that on my shelf would be amazing. Like I would like to have one for each individual film. Yeah. Because I like having individual copies, but just to have like at least a physical copy of the films that I worked on so far. I don't know. I may call it like in the world of Fang, the Fang trilogy. I'll see what I come up for the title for, you know. For it basically. But yeah, so once I'm excited to get to that point, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, you know.
Well, it's like this poster, man. Like somebody might see this at a convention and buy it because it's cool, which is awesome because they support, you know, the film, what you created. But like, I mean, especially to me, this means something. This
exactly, yeah. I mean,
you know, actual blood went into, sweat and tears went into making this.
Exactly. Yeah, that was. I didn't make that one. That was my mom's friend from work.
Yeah, I mean, the film is. Right. But like, yeah, it's a.
And I do have another poster of Fang for the 1 year anniversary. I wanted to do kind of something special with it, and I got someone else to do a new poster for it. So
nice.
I'll probably more than likely have physical copies of that.
Limited edition.
5 out of 5. Real blood on the poster.
Oh snap! That's right.
I know that's what like Saw did, because they have like those with the blood drive. They did like a whole blood drive with all the Saw films basically.
Oh, really?
And I remember with the third film specifically, they had like Tobin Bell, who plays Jigsaw. They had like his blood like inked with like the poster for like limited edition.
Wow.
So like they've done it.
That's pretty extreme.
So I don't know. Maybe
wait, did you say they did a blood drive? Like right, a donation?
Right, yeah. So basically you can do
That's really cool.
They had one for Saw X, actually, the most recent one. And they actually had it at the nearby mall near me. I wanted to do it, but I was like out of the country, and then there was like, oh, since you're like in this area, we couldn't risk, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So it sucked. I really wanted to do it. I still got some prizes, which was cool. But
they didn't want you to bring in malaria or something.
Exactly. You know, so I really wanted to do it, but I wasn't able to. But again, you know, long story short, they have done like posters like that where it's like they put like blood and all that, you know. It's like got some real vampire blood in there, you know.
That's pretty crazy. I'm sure it'll sell. That's like that reminds me of that one rapper who put blood in the Jordans or whatever in his shoes.
Oh right,
yeah.
So again, you can do some great like with the
blood drive. I think that's really cool.
Exactly.
Like even if you like that's probably more applicable to Fang than it is Saw, you know what I mean?
Right, guys. Yeah, I mean, just going back to like the Indiegogo reward, like you can like, I want to do some really cool rewards. That way, people are like, oh, I want to donate. That's a cool reward, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not so familiar with this director or whatever it may be, but like, that's a cool reward. You know, poster, whatever it may be. You know, the Blu-ray. I know some people do like spend the day on set, you know, or.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we had that one recently for a film, and I think we have another one. Well, for Derek's film, another plug. I'm promoting this guy.
Yeah, plug it up.
But for Derek, Derek has this new Niko up for the Clown Dies at Midnight, Clown Harder, sequel to his short film that he did. It's a really funny, crazy, raunchy film, you know, and we had a table read for it. Now he just put the Indiegogo up like a day or two ago, and there's some really cool rewards on there. Like you can have like your picture in the movie, you know, and again, you can have like spend a day on set, which is pretty cool. You know, or you can just kind of see the whole filmmaking process, and you know, he'll give you like a IMDb credit and stuff like that, you know, and all that jazz. So
that's, you know, those are actually some pretty incredible ideas for crowdfunding and getting it, you know, getting a project from idea to in motion.
You know, that's why with, you know, Fang or Encounter Fang, it's like I don't want to go the Indiegogo route just yet because like I'm still kind of new, and so I don't want people to be like, hey, give me $2,000. You know, it's like I'm sure I get some money, but I kind of wanted to build myself first and be like, hey guys, this is what I did with like little to no money with this feature film. You know, I don't know how much it'll cost to write it, of course, obviously, and kind of see what you know, how much it would be.
But that third, you probably do something for that third project, especially after, you know, you're more experienced after the second film, you know, and now that you've kind of get some ideas of what's out there, you can really get, you know, roll up your sleeves with the feature, right?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I go, you know, very end, just unanswered questions, answering those, way more characters, way more locations, way more effects, and just a whole bunch of craziness, and just kind of bending different genres, maybe throw some more action in there, some more kind of thriller, some more drama, maybe some romance in there. Just kind of throwing all these different
everything, comedy, comedic.
Exactly,
relief.
you know, and you know, with Encounter Fang, that was my main thing too, was just to kind of go really different with it, and because you know when you think Area 51, you think the aliens and all that stuff, of course UFOs, but you're not really thinking vampires, right? Of course, and so it's like it's one of those things where like let me throw a vampire in there, and in my Area 51 we have aliens and stuff, we have all that, but it's like hey, that kind of, you know, from what you were saying earlier, like all these like what's happening, where it's like maybe there's all these other kind of mythical creatures there too in Area 51, so it kind of opens the door to like, whoa, what else is like, you know, lurking down there? Well,
it's pretty in line, because when you first told me about Encounter, or when I first read the script or one of the drafts, I was like, Samantha is a vampire, and whatever, you know, the creature was, like, they could be like interdimensional type things, and if they're being contained to Area 51 and they're involved with the government, that is completely in line.
Exactly, yeah.
Because aliens, vampires, Bigfoot, like they, you know, they're probably all part of a similar frequency that's not of this 3D world, right?
Exactly, that's my idea. You know, so again, you know, in Encounter Fang, like there's so much lore being added, you know, with what people are saying and stuff, and it's just it's a much bigger. You gotta think about the bigger picture when you're watching it. Like, oh, you know, it's not like it's a small kind of event, but it's like this whole bigger picture kind of going on in the background. Because not to give too much away, but Encounter Fang takes place pretty quick, or Encounter Fang and Fang take place pretty close to one another. Right. So it's not like a 5-year time jump away. It's like really close. Like all these kind of like events are happening. It's kind of like with Star Wars, where they have like kind of like their timeline, where it's like before the Battle of Yavin or whatever. So kind of like with Fang, it's like I guess before the attack of Zack, after the attack of Zack, because like this whole like Fang thing is like the middle point. That's kind of how this timeline is working.
Because she's a vampire. I mean, you know, there's no telling like her age or the timeline on her age, right? Like you mentioned Star Wars, that's like, you know, within a generation of Luke or Anakin, you know what I mean?
Right.
Where it's like maybe you can be more ambiguous with that, but it sounds like it is still kind of relatively close.
Exactly, yeah. And, you know, with these two films, like, I don't know if you call it retconning or whatever, but I'm just kind of adding like, oh, here's what she can do now, here's a new power. So I guess it's, I don't know, call it retcon, but it's a new addition, I guess we can say. Yeah. Like, here's what she can do now, here's another kind of set of her powers.
Yeah.
Here's the unseen monster, here's what happens when he shows up, here's what happens when, you know, these other groups of people show up and all these kind of characters converge and what's going on and
minor unveiling. Slowly unveiling.
Exactly, just kind of revealing more and more about, you know, hey, I'm just going to add this now to this character. And then with the feature film, it's like, I want to take what I've written with Fang and Encounter Fang, seeing the final film and just kind of seeing what I could, you know, answer in the feature and what I can, you know, add to like the powers or, you know, what they're capable of, I guess you can say, and just really kind of have a definitive answer on like everything, basically. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. I love like sci-fi and you know, I think those ideas, blending them all together, I'm excited to see how it comes out. And then yeah, the production of the feature, that's gonna be pretty big.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'll probably end up writing it again, or writing the feature, because like I've written these two films. Like, let me just go at it with the feature, you know. And
you want to get going, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could be filming it right now, but
right.
You know,
How much of it have you written already?
None of it.
Oh.
So well, because originally I wrote a sequel, so technically I have like kind of that sequel. Yeah. It's like a short film, the sequel that I wrote. So what I'll probably do is take some of those ideas and combine it into the feature film, you know. Because like, hey, I already wrote this sequel, let me kind of take some of that and apply it here. But again, you know, doing Encounter Fang, opening up the doors to like Area 51, governments, and all this kind of stuff. It's like, all right, now I got to bring that kind of full circle with this feature film and Fang and what happens to this character and everything, and just kind of going, you know, bigger for sure. Like, I definitely want to do, again, just keep hammering it down, like really go crazy with the effects and more vampire attacks and more monsters popping up and more, you know, you never know who is going to pop up. That's just the fun thing with this, with Fang and this whole world, is like, you know, I can kind of come up with whatever, and it's just like, you know, here's this alien, here's this, maybe there's Bigfoot, maybe just crazy
Mothman.
Exactly, yeah, just kind of coming up with different stuff, you know, and so
that's incredible.
I'm excited just to kind of have this finale with the feature, just to, you know, kind of put an end to everything and just to kind of wrap everything up. So that way it's like, and it's rewarding for the audience too, because it's like, hey, you're watching Fang, it's like, oh, okay, that's cool, great. But it's like, whoa, now I can watch this prequel, you know, and if I do a spin, like, now I can watch this spinoff too, and then I can watch this feature, this maybe like 2-hour feature film, and you can kind of go the Star Wars way, where you can start with Fang and go backwards, or you can start with the prequel, go to Fang, or go to the spinoff, or you can go to...
Like, it almost doesn't matter where you start, as long if you watch them all, you're gonna kind of figure it out.
Exactly, and then even, you know, with the feature too, it's like, I kind of want to do something with how they did with like maybe the Jigsaw film or Spiral, where you can kind of jump into it, but you don't necessarily need to have seen the other ones.
Right.
So that's kind of my idea with the feature. It's always like, hey, if you've been watching all the films, you'll be rewarded, because like, oh, here's what happened to this character, that connects to that dialogue, oh, okay, I see. So it's just a rewarding thing for the viewers, the audience, because it's like, oh shit, now, you know, I'm not just watching Fang, I'm watching this bigger kind of world with all these different films, and who knows by the time in like 10 years how many of these kind of like Fang films I'd be doing.
Yeah,
it's like,
well, and Fang is such a hook, man. It's such a hook when when it ends. It's like, okay, now what? Like
exactly.
what? Like what? You know?
Exactly. Yeah. That was the idea was just to end it like what the hell? Like,
right.
This cliffhanger, and again everything's been like pre-Fang, so like we don't know this kind of like what's happening after. That's still like up in the air of what's going on. And I do have a sequel where I explain what happened to that character.
Yeah.
But again, I might change it up a little bit. So we'll see. But what I had in the sequel was a pretty cool kind of wave. So like what the hell? Like that's what hopefully gonna keep but
yeah.
But so again you're
gonna have to watch.
Exactly. You can go prequel to Fang. If I did the spinoff, you can do prequel, spinoff, and then Fang, or you can watch that. And it's one of those things where like these films aren't too long anyway, so like you might as well watch everything.
Yeah.
But again, it's like you can kind of like pick and choose your own adventure, basically.
I was just thinking that like a choose your own adventure, or you, just being able to kind of jump in and at any point and figure it out as long as you watch them all.
Exactly. I want one of those like YouTubers to kind of like break down my film and be like like those like breakdown videos.
Yeah.
Where, like, the Fang universe explained, the Fang lore explained.
Right.
Mythology, whatever. That'd just be like such a rewarding thing, just to have like some YouTuber do that, kind of explain like, in this scene we see she can do this, and then this takes place in 2024, whatever it may be. So it's like
we could even do a podcast about it, and you could add it as an extended feature.
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of do like a whole breakdown of the whole kind of world,
right?
Of like how this character connects here, and again, like when you're watching Encounter, you're like, whoa, that's like connections. And then if I did another film, I'll add even more, and it's such a rewarding thing for me, and then for the audience to see, all these different connections. Like if you're really paying attention to the dialogue, really mainly.
Yeah, you just gave me a brilliant idea. Actually, it's like, and maybe we could even do this with Encounter if you want, or with Fang even. Actually, is imagine if we did like it's like a split screen where the top screen you're watching the scene or the film. The bottom screen is basically just like this podcast content, breaking it down scene by scene.
Exactly.
Telling stories about the shoot, whatever the case.
Yeah, that'd be great to come back here and do that.
Yeah.
Just to break everything down. Because that's like a whole different story in of itself with watching this scene. Like, how did we achieve this scene? How was it, even just like the editing? How was the editing achieved here? And stuff like that would be really
exactly
cool to do. Or
have like a slideshow of all the what do you call it? Like the behind the scenes photos we took.
Right.
Everything like that. It's like it just it makes for great extended content, especially if you're doing like all this distribution.
Exactly, because I'm a sucker for like special features behind the scenes. So it's like, hey, I know there's people out there that love that stuff too. So it's like, hey, you get to watch this, you get to look behind the scenes, and interviews, kind of whatever it may be. So that's just the fun part. Once I do get to that part, where I can add so much more into the bonus features. So like even though the film might be short or whatever, you get all this extra content.
Yeah,
that explains everything. So that'd be really cool to do that one day, or maybe I was thinking to have something like on the wall of like a timeline thing. And put like an image of a scene, like this takes place on this day, this takes place on this day, and stuff like that. So really kind of cool to have like a really big just kind of wall or like a poster or whatever, and just kind of like the Fang timeline.
The Fang timeline.
That's kind of what would be cool to have one day.
Absolutely.
To do that.
I know your mind is all focused on Fang. I mean, this amazing plot that can go in so many different directions. But do you ever get ideas for anything like an additional film project that is irrelevant to this, or is everything that you're coming up with, all the ideas you're thinking about, kind of just go directly back into this plot?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, I did announce last year at this point, but
because I want to see a comedy by you. I want to see.
Right.
I want to spin off on Will Brady.
Yeah, well, so I did write a found footage film. It's not final or anything. It's probably not even really.
You were telling me about this, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, I have to like completely probably rewrite it, but I was just writing.
It's an idea.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I was just writing it. And my idea with that was to have it separate from the Fang universe, and because I love found footage films, I think they're great kind of like subgenre here. And I was like, hey, while this Fang stuff is going on, let me write this found footage thing and maybe shoot it. I was planning to like shoot it like last year, like really quick, like boom, done. We probably like in editing by now, but hasn't come to fruition with that. But eventually I want to go back to it and write it and really make sure it's the best it can be, and again, to answer your question, it's like it's separate from the whole Fang thing.
Yeah.
And I think I'll probably keep it that way just to have something different. But I might do like a Kevin Smith thing where it's like all his for the most part like all his films are like in the same universe where like you have like Clerks, and then you have like Mallrats, but it's not called like Clerks Mallrats, it's like just Clerks and you have Mallrats and all this stuff,
But it's like a lot of the same actors, right?
Exactly, they're playing the same characters, playing different characters. It's crazy what he's got going on there, but
that's awesome.
So something like that maybe where it's like it's still like in the universe where we might reference it really quickly, kind of a thing, or maybe Samantha might pop up if she's playing a different character.
Yeah.
It's like they're like, hey, if Kevin Smith can do it, I can do it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Adam Sandler can do it, we can do it.
Exactly. So maybe I might do something like that where it's just kind of like, oh, it's in the same universe, but, like the MCU, right? Like, you have like Iron Man and you have all these all these different films where it's like, granted, they'll reference each other a lot, but sometimes maybe they're in their own kind of separate world where they're like, oh, we don't have to reference this character or whatever it may be. So
yeah.
That's kind of the idea with this found footage film. So
or they usually have something like after the credits, it's like a little little something extra that will tie into the greater universe.
Exactly. Yeah, I gotta do a post credits. It'd be cool to do something like that. Exactly. So that's kind of the idea with the found footage film there. It would be, of course, horror again and stuff like that. But I want to meet up with somebody to help me kind of really hone in on that and make sure I'm kind of doing the right. Kind of, I don't know, like spelling, but just to make sure like it's the format is good, I guess you could say, basically.
Right. Make sure it's like scalable, right? Like
exactly, just to make sure like, okay, if I'm doing this,
can I do it?
Exactly, yeah. So I have a really cool idea. It's just a matter of like, I really have to make sure it's correct. I guess the format is to make sure the dialogue and all that stuff. Like, how should I do it exactly? Because with a found footage film, do I do it this way? Do I do it like that? It's like what's going on.
Yeah, well, you need the script first, right?
Exactly, yeah. So that's kind of like definitely kind of a side project I have in my mind at least, and it's just a matter about taking that script and rewriting it, and we'll see where eventually I get around to doing that. Right now, my mind is just kind of like in this whole Fang world, and
which I don't blame you. I mean, exactly. This is it's your focus. It's definitely
That's my main idea. It's just to. I'm still like in this vein.
Still feeding this baby.
Exactly. I'm not leaving that anytime soon. I definitely want to keep building. And, that's kind of the idea with that, basically.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I think it's going to be, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see the compilation for everybody else to see it. And, the promotion aspect is really, really cool. The posters are amazing. I mean, so much passion and talent, into all of it. So,
no, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's having the cast and crew work on all this and just even having, Samantha on board again. She's like, yeah, I want to play the vampire.
Yeah.
I was like, all right,
And she's going on to do like TV shows and stuff. Like
she's got some great stuff ahead of herself. For you and for everybody else involved.
Absolutely.
It's just fun to kind of see like what you're doing with, I think a feature film you're working on. Or just in post-production, stuff like that. And seeing what Samantha's doing, the fact that she was on board to do, which means a lot to me because like, hey, she wants to do it again, and and I think once she sees what we have here, at least because filming is one thing, but then editing and the post-production is a whole different story. So I think when she watches it and when the whole other cast and crew sees it, I think they'll be blown away by what we have for Encounter Fang here.
The progress.
I've shown it to like some people so far, but I'm kind of saving it for the premiere, of course, right? Kind of saving that whole, for the reactions for for that, just to kind of see your reactions.
I promise I'll be there for that one.
Exactly. No, thank you, man. I think you're gonna like how it ends. Well, you saw the script, so it's
I at least need a refresher, but
right. But
and I don't know if you've changed anything in the meantime.
True, right? At least now you actually get to see it, visually, right? Compared to like the script, so it's gonna be fun showing that off finally. I'm super excited. It's just like, we're almost there. It's
Yeah,
almost it's almost done, man.
Yeah, I love how, you know, everyone is still like attached to it, and it's like, you know, no, you can't, don't forget where you came from, you know.
Exactly, yeah, and I mean that was, you know, again, cool for her to jump on board, and I talked with you, kind of mentioning what I had in mind with your character and stuff, and again, it's a prequel. Also, I was like, how am I gonna like end it off to where like Fang happens, you know? I definitely had like a different idea for how it would connect. I think I mentioned to you before, but I think the way it still ends here, and then when you pay attention again, like when it takes place and all this stuff, you're like, oh shit, okay, it's, you know, it's taking place like soon after they're gonna meet up with this guy, you know, and have that whole shebang there at my place basically. But you know, it's been great, you know, with all this.
Amazing, man, amazing. Yeah, Fang, available now. Do you want me to plug it in like the link to the video?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Osorio Film Productions. I have a logo made for my company. I just gotta put it on my YouTube, but I'm so lazy with that. But Osorio Film Productions, Fang, 2023 short horror film, about 5 minutes long, and then once Encounter Frame comes out, I'll put that on there, and then I definitely want to try to like populate it more. So I don't know if I'll do some commentaries and put that on there too, or you know, whatever, but you know, keep an eye out for that on my channel. I'll be posting Encounter Fang hopefully March here, hopefully the latest April, but
fingers crossed.
Exactly, it's getting really close here, and you know, I'm excited to finally have it out there into the world, just to kind of just keep going, basically, just kind of keep going, and my goal was to have like a film every year. 2024, it kind of postponed because I had to delay filming, or the filming got delayed for, you know, whatever reason it may be.
Yeah.
So we got pushed into kind of 2025 here, but it's just like, you know, at least every year do something, you know, directing wise, just to kind of keep it going, just to have something else to show people, basically, just to kind of show, hey, this is what I'm capable of. Here's what, you know, we can achieve, basically.
Absolutely, and you know, yeah, like you said, keep going. Don't stop, because the more you work at it and the more experience you get, the more exposure you get, the more success you're going to find. And I think you're already starting to see like a bit of that early on. So keep it up, man. You're talented, young director.
Thank you.
You know, I wish I started getting into film like when I was your age, because yeah, I mean, the sooner you can start, the better. And yeah, you're making some great headway. You're meeting some great people, it sounds like, and yeah, I'm excited to see you grow. I'm excited to see these films progress, and you know, hope to, you know, continue collaborating with you, man.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's just the thing. It's like, you know, I get stuff done. You know, I want to make sure I get stuff done, because it's like, hey, I want to release this. You know, I'm not going to delay it. I want to release it. We're releasing it. I want IMDb. We got an IMDb, film credit, all that stuff. You know, I take care of. You know, I want to put it out there. I don't want to have like Fang, you know, and it's like, oh, 5 years later, oh, it came out. You know, it's like, no, I'm gonna boom, get it done. Because I want to see it myself. Like, I want to be like kind of sit back and be like a fan watching it, you know, to where I'm like, oh, this is really cool. Oh, it came out, you know, and
Diego don't play no games.
Exactly, man. I'm getting myself done.
We're to get shit done.
Exactly. That's just, you know, that's just how it is. You know, you make it, boom, get it out there, man. Just, you know, for the world to see, and that's really just my kind of game plan, or my creative process, I guess, for like the post, you know, or marketing here. It's like, boom, get it done, get the poster, IMDb, all that, you know.
Yeah.
Put images, you know, all that, description, you know, so YouTube, and so
so many moving parts, but
exactly,
you know, I think that's one thing for anybody out there getting started is just do it, right? It might not be that long, or you know, it might not be that great, just like my podcast even, you know, it's like everything's going to start small, but the more you do it, there's something that happens, you can call it quantum physics or something, that you get exponential growth the more you keep doing it. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, you know, from Fang to Encounter Fang, even being on like Derek's sets and everyone else's sets, you know, I learned so much more, and it's like, oh, I can do that. Like, oh, here's this equipment I can use.
Yeah.
Or, you know, here's this, you know, I work with Kirk Lowry, of course, the MC Monster, and he has his own sound gear now. So hey, that's like, oh, he has his own sound gear, which is great. So
yeah. You had a lot of great ideas. We're working with them, and that's the other thing too, man. Is the community. It's like you learn so much from so many different people, and you know, that's what art is. It's the cumulation of all these people's creativity.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just like one of the more rewarding aspects. It's just like, especially with Fang, you had so many great ideas, and that one kind of like mirror shot we did.
Yeah.
Really cool. I think you brought it up, or I think I mentioned like, Niko, check this out, like, and then we got that one shot there, and your collaboration was great, and you brought some great ideas as well. I was like,
thank you, man.
I was like really cool, like,
it's
just
thank you
over here swinging the bat and stuff, about to like break everything, and which was really cool.
Good thing I didn't break anything, man.
Yeah.
No, that's and that's what I love about it that's what I love about even just being an actor, or like you said, even if you're just a DP, it's you're in a position where you can actually lend your creativity to the whole project, and that's and when people feel
that's how it should be. It's just the whole, you can't be afraid to share something, or you can, because you never know, like, that'd be really cool having this lighting over here, or this shot moving a little differently here and stuff like that.
You might be like, oh well, that's it. That's interesting. Let's try it. Let's do a take like that. And when people feel comfortable to lend their ideas, I think that builds into the success of the film as the whole.
Exactly, and I like when actors do like get some improv in there.
Yeah,
I don't mind if they change it up a little bit. I feel like that's where the most fun comes out. Where like, maybe they throw in that one line in there. Maybe they like do something different with their body language and stuff like that. So I definitely like kind of giving you guys kind of freedom with improv and stuff. I don't mind it.
That's where the magic happens.
Exactly.
I'm sure that's where you find some of that out in some of these some of these behind the scenes, right? Like
exactly. Yeah. Sometimes people would just do something completely different and what.
Like that was completely improv right there.
Exactly. So I just like when people do that. Like, I'm not gonna be like, it has to be word for word exactly. For the most part, it's just, hey, just have fun with it. Just kind of come up with whatever you want to say, basically. Which I think brings out the most, kind of creative shots. Not just like the cinematography itself, but then also what's happening in the frame.
Absolutely.
Longest episode you've had?
Probably the last one I did, which was
it's like an
hour and 7 minutes, I think, something like that.
We'll make it an hour and 8, right?
Yeah, there we go.
that's how it is,
It's gonna be my longest episode.
Exactly, breaking the record.
Absolutely, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, it's good stuff. Yeah, it's sometimes hard to find time to do a lot of these things, but these are what fill your passions. These are what we live for, and no, it's an honor to collaborate and continue growing, man.
Yeah, no, thank you. You too, man. You were great on Fang here, and people had to see what happens with their character and the prequel, but it's been fun collaborating and just so many fun ideas that day. I remember it was it went longer than I expected, but then we had a day 2 to it as well, which kind of helped out anyways because it was like a rainy day and stuff, and the scenes that we needed to shoot were like in the middle, so like
it was sunny and then it got rainy.
Exactly, so it worked out, on day 2 with it being gloomy and just like kind of a little bit foggy and just raining and stuff.
But that kind of played in with the plot of the movie.
Exactly. So it was kind of like a blessing in disguise with that.
Yeah,
which was really cool. Shooting. Yeah, we just like. I remember we were like, when can we film it? Like, tomorrow. Like, all right, let's do it.
That's right. I forgot it was a 2-day shoot. That's right.
It was like on the Saturday, and I think that Sunday, we came back.
Kind of wrapped it up.
Exactly. So that was that was pretty cool doing that. But of course, with Encounter, I just had to break it up in multiple days, just given the nature of different locations and the cat. Like, there's just no way of one thing.
It's a bigger scale.
Exactly. So I had to push it into like multiple days here. But it's crazy because one of the days we were at Derek's place, the first day, we got a little bit of filming done, but then like a tornado happened nearby, and it was like thundering and stuff like that. Lights went out, so we were able to film.
Did you use it?
There actually is one shot where I won't say too much, like 2 policemen come into the house, and behind them you can see like the lightning and stuff like that, and you can hear like the thunder and all that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I kept that shot in there. That's awesome. Still there. Yeah, so it's really cool. That's still in there. Then, we couldn't really shoot that day basically, so I had to like find another day when everybody was available, and then
that's fun.
That's when that's why I got pushed back to 2025 year. Yeah, it's like okay, because that happened. That was fun, but no one was hurt or anything. It was just nearby, whatever. But that happened. So I was that, but yeah. So that shot is still there. So we still kind of kept the essence of it, I guess you can say, in the film with that. And I think it ended up being like maybe 5 days of shooting compared to like the 2 days. So
that sounds about right.
Yeah, it was still like.
I mean, it is 3 times as long as Fang, so yeah, that's
exactly.
That's on par.
Exactly. So it was about around there. I think it was, yeah. But once we got to that final day and the final shot, we just pushed through it, and everybody was a trooper. And I remember Samantha was like, she might have had something like later that day or like the next day.
Yeah.
But she didn't. Well, she was able to stay and get all that done. So applause to her for sticking through it and just kind of having so much fun with it. And when she sees her performance, she's gonna be like, whoa.
Oh, that's the best. It's like when you see that final product, man.
Exactly, and so yeah, that was about 5 days, I think it was. Yeah.
Not bad. Well, that'll be coming soon. Encounter, second film under Osorio Film Productions.
Yeah.
Right? Be sure to check out Fang on YouTube.
Yep. Osorio Film Productions YouTube. I'll have that. Encounter Fang up in there. Hopefully, I want to try to branch out and get some maybe commentaries or whatever. Maybe a behind the scenes video or something, just to have it. Because so right now it's just Fang.
Yeah.
But that's the idea. It's just to kind of put the films, but also branch out a little bit more. So I just gotta not be lazy. Just kind of get stuff going with that.
Yeah, man. I don't think you're lazy. I just think you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
I get it. So much to do, so little time. But no, keep at it, man. You're killing it, bro. Like I said, I'm excited to see this thing grow for you. And
yeah, thank you. I'm gonna have like the friends and family kind of cast and crew screening, but eventually I would like to do kind of like a bigger, maybe like the ultimate Fang trilogy watch party or something like that.
Yeah.
Some event, or
do like a theater or something, or
something or maybe once I do the feature film, it's like boom, I can just play all the films in kind of like chronological order, and then as like a treat for everybody. That way they're all cut up on the film, and that way when the feature film plays, you're like, they're all cut up and like, whoa, now we're watching this feature film. Now we're gonna see all these characters interact one more time, and so that's the thing. Like I don't have so many ideas. It's just a matter of like taking it like day by day, basically, and kind of seeing like, okay, what do I have to work on today? Is it an editing thing? Is it a directing thing? Is it a relaxing day?
Yeah.
Is it a screenwriting day? Is it a contacting people kind of day? Convention day.
Yeah.
Theater day. Whatever it may be. It's just kind of one step at a time.
As long as you're doing something.
Exactly.
You're getting 1% better every day, or more productive every day.
Yeah, and then once Encounter Fang is on, that's something off my plate right there. So that's Fang, Encounter Fang done. Boom, 2 films I can show off. And then whatever I do next, like boom, here's another film I can show off.
Yeah.
Just kind of like
do a little writing just for ideas on the side.
Exactly, yeah, and that's kind of what I was doing, with that found footage. Like, let me just do something on the side here real quick. Write something, and I like writing at the same time. I hate it because you have to like come up with your own ideas, and it's like on paper it sounds easy. Like, oh, okay, this character does this, he kills that, whatever it may be. But it's like then you have to make it make sense with like, what location am I going to use? Like how much? What are the effects going to be? Can I do that effects? Can I get someone for that for cheap or stuff like that? So you have to like factor all that into it. How many characters am I going to get? How many locations? And that's just a whole like ball game in of itself, basically. Yeah,
it kind of forms the writing process for you. If you're like, well, I know I can't do that, so let me maybe alter this a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's like, hey, my house would be a great filming location, but it's like I already use it, of course, for Fang. So it's like, all right, I can't really have it be like someone else's house because it's like the same furniture, same mirrors, the same. It's like so it's like
this place looks familiar.
So
this murder scene looks familiar.
That's why for the future I'll probably do like a Facebook post with me being like, hey guys, I'm looking for this house, or hey guys, I'm looking for this building, or I'm looking for I'll do probably like a casting call.
Yeah, which with your network already I think is.
Oh yeah, that's just a great thing. I remember I did one for Connor Fang, had a little mini casting call, I guess, for one person. Having built that kind of network, somebody jumped in, and we got somebody secured for that role, and there's really no shortage of people, and then there's all these like Facebook groups too you can post in of like actors or Chicago actors and stuff like that, where it's like now there's even more people there that you could reach out to before even going to like something like Backstage. And Backstage is great too because you can see like how they look like, their name, like their ages on there, stuff right here. Filter,
their range that they could play, right?
Exactly. So that's a great website too, and that's obviously where I found you, of course. You know, so it's like there's that avenue too. So there's basically like I guess no excuse to find an actor, you know, or even like crew for that matter too.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, working with all these guys, like I got a crew taken care of more or less, and cast, and you know. So we'll see kind of what happens with this feature, but there'll be a ton more characters, a ton more. It's going to be really cool, you know.
Yes,
that's why
man.
I'm finishing up with Encounter Fang, and it's just like, it's just so cool. Finally rewarding to see like this final product here.
Yeah,
it's basically almost done. And having seen it multiple times, like it's so satisfying just finally seeing this go from the script to filming to the movie basically here, and getting it out there to everyone, and just kind of continuing the journey with all these different characters, and just kind of building upon them.
Delayed gratification.
Yeah.
Such an underrated fulfillment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like
I think it'd be, not to cut you off, I think it'd be even funnier, cool if like eventually they're like, hey, can I do a Fang film? And they'll give me like that one credit where it's like based on characters created by Diego Osorio. Kind of thing. So like, you know,
copyrighted, man.
Exactly. It's like, you know, that'd be kind of cool if it got to that point one day where it's like someone else kind of takes my characters and they kind of do their own film.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty. I mean, obviously I would talk with them and stuff like that, kind of see what they have in mind.
Next thing you know, they're Elise is an SNL character, and you know it's being used everywhere.
Yeah, I mean that'd be kind of cool. Eventually, something like that happens. When like one of my buddies is like, oh, let me do a Fang film, and let me obviously give you credit for that and stuff. So they kind of take the story, they kind of take those characters, and then I'm like, that way I can really sit back as a fan and just kind of see like, whoa, here's what they do with maybe Samantha, or here's maybe what they do with like. That would be another really like rewarding thing for me. Where it's like, they want to take something that I made and kind of do something of their own. So
after your creation is already like it's going off. I can see it.
So that'd be really cool.
The Funko Pop, that's the biggest thing, dude. That's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. So that'd be kind of cool one day for somebody to do that. To kind of take my idea and kind of do something with it. Or so filmmakers, hit me up if you want to do something.
Down to collab. Down to collaborate.
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be so awesome just to see that happen. And hopefully they'll have like a bigger budget. They can go crazy with it and all that stuff.
Or who knows, man? You might write something that like you were saying, like you might change it because it's not feasible or attainable. Say you just write something that's like all out. I mean, somebody might buy that script. You never know.
That is true. I mean, there's that avenue as well where it's like, hey, someone could buy it and they could do it. So like that's definitely something to consider for sure.
Yeah.
But so that's just the fun thing with all this. It's like kind of do a Fast and Furious thing where it's like, because my main idea was like to keep Fang in the title.
Yeah.
So Encounter Fang. If I do another Fang, it's like just keep Fang somewhere in there, kind of how like Fast and Furious has like Fast or Furious in the title somewhere.
Well, yeah.
So
honestly, I don't know what. I think I saw that they had 10. I'm like, okay, now it's just too crazy. So I don't know where they ended up, but
right. Well, the last one was Fast X.
Oh gosh.
So now we're on 10. So technically 11 because they had that spin-off film with Hobbs and Shaw, but
yeah.
But so
there's gonna be a crossover with Pixar Cars next.
So that's why for any future films I'll definitely keep the Fang title somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do anything like a Fang 2. Like I want to do something. Maybe pull like a James Cameron with what he did with Aliens.
Yeah.
Where he basically, I guess the story goes, he went to like a meeting or something. He put like a $sign next to Alien. So it was like aliens, to the people there.
Yeah.
So like, it'd be kind of cool just to kind of go like, just put it as Fangs.
Right, but then he did like what, Prometheus or
that was Ridley Scott.
Oh my.
Yeah. James Cameron.
Film ignoramus.
He only did Aliens, but something like that just for the sequel or whatever. Like just call it Fangs.
Yeah.
Right. Something like that, or Fang something, or go so like. Title-wise, I can do so much more. So much with it, and kind of have a intriguing title. Because when you read the title, it's like, whoa, like what does this mean? Like, I haven't really heard this word before, you know, so like that.
And then you got that keyword covered, so like it's not like somebody else does a film called Fangs and they get it confused with your film. It's like, oh, they're both Diego Osorio.
Right, that's my idea, you know, with Encounter. Like, so I'm pretty sure no one's done like an Encounter Fang, so it's like, at least I have that covered.
Yeah,
you know, but that's just
you're gonna get Fang tattooed.
Yeah. I'll get it somewhere. I'll get like the whole cast to sign my arm.
Yes.
Get a whole kind of like signature thing going on with
yeah,
that,
like a literal cast
right.
of the cast.
Right. So that's kind of the idea. Keep an eye out. Look at a Fang tattoo, guys. You know that'll be fun.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's the plan. You know.
Well, I can't wait until one day we're all doing a Comic-Con together and reprising our roles and. You know, talking about these.
Yeah, I mean that'd be great. You know, just thinking future. I was kind of joking with him earlier, like maybe in 20 years, where it's like, oh, we look back on you know on this
episode,
Fang, and then, geez, by the time 20 years goes around, I'll probably have like maybe 3 Fang feature films, 4. I mean, you know, you name it.
Yeah. And
I'll just keep getting better and better with each film, and it'll be really. That's like the rewarding thing. Like I know people are like, oh, I don't want to grow old or whatever, but at least for me, it's like. On paper, it sounds good now, but even when I'm older, I'm like, God damn, I said that. But, you know, it's like 20 years from now, I'm like, oh, man, like, wow, I did all this. Here's, like, all these Blu-rays I made. Here's all these Fang films I made. Here's just, like, you know, combining all the films. Maybe here's, like, this, like, 10-hour-long kind of film.
Oh, wow.
Of, like, of all these films combined.
Marathon.
Exactly. You know, that'd be really cool. So, you know, so it's future thinking and stuff, but... Something like that would be really cool, just to kind of just sit back and like, wow, I did that. Like, really, I did that, you know, or just kind of look back and have that with all the cast and crew. It would be really cool to do some like anniversary kind of, you know, event for that.
Man.
So, anyway, who knows? We'll see where I'm at in 20 years. We'll see where you're at in 20 years.
Yeah,
you know?
dude.
So, you know, maybe because I think it'd be really cool to like remake Fang with like a bigger budget. You know, I think it'd be really cool to. Because, like, there's a kill that happens off screen. I won't say it exactly or whatever, but, like, you know, with Fang, it's like maybe we'll actually, like a remake of it, maybe we'll actually show it now. And I originally had something to where Samantha entered the house differently. But I'm like, I'll need kind of like visual effects for that. And I'm sure I could find someone, but, like, you know, so do that and change some things around. And so I think it'd be really cool to, you know, to go back there 5 years from now, maybe 10, where it's like I'm remaking Fang. Into something more what I had in mind. Right. You know.
What you weren't able to do 20 years ago. It's like, let me I mean, well, dude, I mean, the way you see it now, it's like so many movies are being remade that, you know, it's kind of a trend at this point.
Exactly. I still love this film, you know, it's great and everything, but it's like, you know, hey, it'd be kind of cool just to see what I can do with like a bigger budget and have like an actual cinematographer and, you know, and, you know, and all that, lighting crew and all that stuff. So that's...
all the departments set.
And it's just kind of and again, so we have, you know, Fang as a reference point. It's just kind of a matter of like, keep this shot, do I change it, you know, so.
Yeah.
That's something that I would like to do eventually, kind of like as a future project, like go back and remake it, basically. Mm-hmm. Just to kind of show like, hey, here's how I was at the beginning as a filmmaker in this point, and here's how much I've learned and changed over here, basically. Yeah. So you kind of see like the evolution of like, whoa, wow, he did this over, you know, here.
His
like,
career, right.
Right, and then like, wow, he did this thing over here. Like, wow, just the shots look different, like, you know, all that stuff, you know. So that's a future project idea for sure, definitely.
Absolutely. Would you ever be open to shooting and directing something somebody else wrote if it was the right project?
Just not even like Fang related, just or yeah, that'd be kind of cool to do that, you know. It's like, hey, the script is already written.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. No, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I like
just to exercise a different muscle as a director only.
Exactly. Yeah, you know, again, I like writing my own stuff because it's my ideas. I'm creating where these characters are going and stuff, you know. But I think, yeah, I mean, taking what somebody else wrote and directing that, I think that'd be pretty cool for sure. Yeah. I'm not opposed to it.
Right,
you know?
right.
It's just a matter of like, hey, I'm waiting for a script to kind of land on my door, kind of thing, you know. And but at least with Fang, for the foreseeable future, I'll be the one writing it. So.
Yeah, well, for sure. No, it's like I said, it's your baby, man. It's your baby.
Especially with this kind of like finale with the feature. It's like I might as well just write the finale, you know, because I could give someone else plot points and like ideas and stuff, but it's like, you know, I want to be the one in charge of for the writing aspect.
100%. I'm just saying, if somebody sees your work
Exactly.
and says, "Oh wow, I like this guy's eye. I like the way I like his style, the way he shoots. I have this script. Maybe he can do something with it," kind of a thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. That'd be great to do that, you know, and take somebody else's script, hopefully horror related. Or
Yeah.
Maybe give me a romance script. Damn it.
Yeah.
Just let me change it up, you know, and
Blood is cool, but we want some love.
exactly. We want some love.
That's right.
Between vampires.
Yeah.
Some vampire love.
But not Twilight.
But right. Yeah, but yeah, that'd be pretty cool for sure. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. Just bring the scripts, guys.
There you go.
Let me see what we got here
Send
working
them.
with, and that'd be cool. Yeah, definitely.
Right on, man. All angles to it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, Diego, I think this is a good wrap-up moment. Yeah. Pleasure to have worked with you. Pleasure
Thank
to
you,
have
man.
met you, man. Thank you for coming on here and sharing your project, dude.
Yeah.
This is going to be huge, so, everyone follow
We're just in the
Fang.
beginning process. We're still in the beginning
Yeah.
phases of all this, so it's just a matter of keep going at it, basically.
Absolutely. So follow the series, catch Fang. We'll put the YouTube link below, and then keep an eye out for Encounter, which is going to come
Releasing
out
very soon.
very soon. And then more films to come under Diego Osorio Film Productions.
Osorio Film Productions.
Osorio Film
Yeah.
Productions. Go ahead and plug your stuff. Don't let me tell it for you.
Yeah, no. Well, like I said, Osorio Film Productions on YouTube. Fang, 2023 short horror film, about 5 minutes long. I have IMDb, so you can check me up on there and see some of the other projects I've helped out on. Diego Osorio, Osorio, and I do have a picture there, so you'll recognize that it's me and stuff. But I have Fang up on there, and Encounter Fang is on there. I already have that, put up there, and again, yeah, you can see all these other projects I've worked with before, and you can give me a friend request or follow on Facebook, Diego Osorio, and yeah, just keep an eye out because it's there's lots more to come for the Fang world, that's for sure. Right on.
Follow, like, and keep a lookout for the man behind the Fang. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll take it, man.
Cool, man.
All
That's
right.
dope, dude.
Yeah,
That's
man.
awesome. Dude, thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a
Of
lot.
course, man. Of course. Yeah, I think we had a solid episode here.